Hey guys, so welcome to today's vlog. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I just got out of the shower. It's in the afternoon. I just had yoga and then I just thought I'd have a shower and just wash my hair. So it's still a little bit wet. I just kind of dried it with the towel and then lightly dried it with the hairdryer. But I just made myself a cup of tea. This is actually my favorite tea or hot drink to make. It is my amazing cocoa chai spice with my raw organic honey, and I just added a little bit of rice milk. I actually want to swap to almond milk, but I don't have any yet, and I haven't really gone to the health food store. But I'm gonna sit down with my cup of tea and I'm gonna do a book review today. So I'm gonna be reviewing with you guys Franta's Note to Self, because I recently finished that and I mentioned I was reading it on one of my videos in my main channel Study with Jess. So I wanted to talk to you guys about it because I know a lot of you guys are interested. Some of you have read it, so I thought you can comment down below your thoughts. And then I think the next book I'm going to review is another one I just finished. So I'm not going to tell you what that is, but I'm going to be putting up a couple of book review videos in the next few weeks, or maybe like the next fortnight. So stay tuned for that. But I've got his book over here. Such a beautiful cover. I really, really like it. So I'm going to pop you guys down and let's have a chat. Let's review this book and let's have some tea. It is so good. I only added half a teaspoon of raw honey. It's honestly the best drink. I love it. Okay, Note to Self. For being totally honest, I picked this up at Dimarks because it looked really pretty and I actually just wanted to see what the fuss was all about. And then about 5 pages in, I realized, oh my gosh, this guy is so incredibly talented, and this is actually one of my favorite books I've ever read. It's made it onto my special section in my book cabinet where I keep my most inspiring books and the ones that really just, I don't know, give me some words of wisdom for my own life and help me to stay on the right track and make sure that I'm getting what I want out of my life as well. So I really recommend it. It is also a very beautiful cover, which doesn't hurt because, I mean, who doesn't unfortunately judge a book by the cover? Because I still do. Even though I've written my own book, I still judge books by the cover. So I wanted to actually just go through some of my favorite things about the book, and I, being Study with Jess style, have underlined a ton of stuff. Not those pages. Where are the pages I underlined? Now that I'm saying it, I can't actually see it. Oh, okay, so for example, I've underlined sections over here and here, if you can see that. Not really. I think it's just a little bit bright, but I'll bring it up a little bit closer. You can see that the camera's focusing on me. There we go. Okay, so I have a tendency to underline or highlight as I read because I always like to look back or go back through books that I've read and, I don't know, just look over the things that really resonate with me. So if you haven't already picked up his book, I'm just going to give you a bit of a brief outline. It is called Note to Self because it includes different sections from his own journal, and he really wrote it for his own self. So there are different notes that he's left himself. There's beautiful photos that he's taken, as well as poems that he's included. His poems are really, really good, by the way. And yeah, I think you've really got to read between the lines though, because if you just read them as words on a page, they don't really resonate with you, but they're actually very deep. So here's just a little example of some of the beautiful photos that are included, and actually that one's really nice as well. I do like that. So he's got different photos and it just shows you the kind of person he is. This book is very reflective of the creative and intelligent person that he is, which I really like, and I would definitely be considering doing something similar for my next book, that it definitely reflects my own talents and that you can just see my heart poured out on that page, and also a lot of personal stories. So here's one of the poems that he wrote. Again, the camera is supposedly focusing on me. There we go. Yeah, I think it's a really fantastic book, and it goes through a lot of the challenges that he has experienced as a young male who is also gay, and the relationships that he's gone through, as well as the relationships that have broken down, his own personal challenge with depression and anxiety, which I really commend him for doing, because I feel like there's still so much stigma in society about mental health challenges. And if anything, I've always seen anxiety and depression as something on a scale. We all experience nerves, we all experience feeling sad, and it's when it gets to that really extreme side of the scale where it impacts your ability to live your life, and you're unable to fulfill a lot of your responsibilities and feel good within yourself, that's when that label comes along. I'm actually not one to label and use the term anxiety disorder or depression, but I think it's very important that we acknowledge when someone is going through a hard time and that we know how to respectfully empathize with them and respond to them and give them the support and the love and care that they need. So I really like that he's actually talked about his own journey with depression and anxiety. I think it's going to help a lot of people. And there's also a focus on self-love within this book. I see that theme coming through, and I think that's so important, especially, I'm just taking another sip of my cocoa. Especially in this day and age where we're always comparing ourselves to other people, and we are never really seeing ourselves as enough. It's like we always want to be prettier or smarter or richer or more successful, and it's really important that we just learn to love and accept ourselves for who we are. And that's something that he definitely talks about in his book, and it's a reoccurring theme. I want to actually go through some of the things that I've underlined because there were certain things I really wanted to share with you. And speaking on the theme of self-love, I think it was page 32 and 33, which is where I underlined, he says, there will always be someone better, but that's not for you to focus on. You're not the smartest, that's for her. You're not the fastest, that's for him. You're not the most successful, that's for them. But you know what? You're the greatest that you can be, and that's for you. And he goes on to say that everyone possesses a unique set of skills and contributes different kinds of qualities to this planet, including you. No one is your particular blend of smart, kind, thoughtful, expressive, creative, empathetic, and driven. And that really got to me, not in a bad way. It really was something that I could relate to, because especially with starting my own business and being on social media, I would compare myself to other people a lot. And I realized my work is a reflection of who I am and what I value, and no one is going to be exactly like me. And so it's not a matter of feeling concerned that someone's going to copy you. I'm not concerned about that. Or trying to be like someone else. When you're trying to be like someone else, the work that you do, it's not authentic. People can sense that, and they don't really get anything out of the work that you're putting out there. So it's important to embrace who you are and just have confidence that as long as you are on the right path, as long as you're being true to yourself, that things work out. So I really do like that chapter. His poems are unbelievably insightful. Then another thing he talked about, and he's not a spiritual person, or he says he's not a spiritual person, but I think that there's a lot of insight and wisdom that comes through his writing. He's very much an observer. So for example, there was one chapter, I think it's page 54 that I was on. On that page, he talks about the fact that he's sitting at a cafe and he's noticing everyone's in such a hurry, everyone's in a rush to get to somewhere or from somewhere, and no one really stops to enjoy the present moment, and they're always trying to get to another point in their journey. And he's sitting in this cafe and he's just observing, he's people watching. And everyone's on their phones, everyone's in a hurry, everyone seems stressed and really caught up with the idea that they need to be somewhere else already. They just want to get to the next point in their life or in their day. And I have observed the same thing. I was sitting in an airport the other week and everybody but me was on their phones. It was the most bizarre thing, because I know that people are addicted to their phones, but I didn't realize that it was that bad. Like, everybody just seems to need some sort of stimulation right away. Everyone needs to be in a hurry, and if they've got to wait for something, then they can't just sit there peacefully. They've got to be on their phones, they've got to distract themselves. They're not spending quality time with one another. And yeah, I was the only person not on my phone, and there's a mum and a little kid opposite me, and the kid's on the iPad, the mum's on the phone, and I'm just thinking, what is going on? Like, why can't people just sit and be? So no, that's something that he talks about as well. And I think that actually relates to another thing he was saying, which is that it's important to be comfortable within our own skin and enjoy time just by ourselves. And that's definitely what I did when I was up in Byron Bay. I spent a lot of time by myself, and I realized it's a different thing to be alone versus lonely. And I was definitely alone for a lot of that time, but I never felt lonely. And that's exactly what he's saying as well. So, you know, we have to be happy with that person, and we have to realize that we're only guaranteed ourselves on this journey, and that people can come and go into our lives. and we have to learn to be okay with who we are. We have to sit with that. We have to be able to spend time by ourselves and not feel like we can't just be left alone, or that there's something wrong if we're sitting in a cafe by ourselves. Like, that's okay to have that quiet time and just enjoy figuring out who you are. Not that I feel like I know exactly who I am and I'm in my mid-20s, like, it takes time. But yeah, just get to know yourself and be able to feel comfortable about that. And the more that you're comfortable with that, the more you're going to put that out there into the universe, and you're going to be able to attract the right kind of people into your life as well. He also said that he's quickly learning that in all relationships, we also need to ensure we never lose sight of who we are as individuals, and our own interests, our own time, our friends, and our own sense of self in the process. And so I think, especially for people that are in relationships, you can realize over time that you've merged into this one being, and you might lose a sense of yourself, or there's this fear that if you don't have that person in your life anymore, that you won't know who you are. What's left? You know, what do you do with your time? What do you like? What are your interests? What is life like without that person? And I strongly believe that to be in a healthy relationship, you need to know who you are, and you need to allow the other person to be who they are, and you accept one another unconditionally, exactly as they are, and you just enjoy the journey. You're there to enjoy each other's company, and you support one another, but you don't lose sight of who you are. And so it's important to set aside time just for yourself. It's important to not always be fearful of being alone, and so we just hop on social media and we're on our phones 24/7 because, you know, goodness forbid that we are sitting at a cafe enjoying a meal by ourselves. So there's a lot of different things that he talks about. I feel like I could go on about the beautiful content that's in this book for ages and ages and ages, but I also wanted to just comment on the poetry that he includes as well. They're all pretty brief. I mean, this one here called Excuses, Excuses is 6 lines, and it just says, "We will forever find excuses not to, but you only need one reason to." And that was in relation to one of his old relationships. So it's this idea that, you know, it might be that there are all these reasons why you shouldn't be together, but you really only need one reason to stay together, which is, in my opinion, love. You know, if you love the other person, then sometimes that's really all you need to validate the fact that you want to be in that relationship with someone. Whether you should be and whether it's a healthy relationship is another thing. But I definitely felt that there was a lot of pain coming through in a lot of his journal entries, and also a lot of wisdom. And you can see he is just really resilient. He's damn resilient. For a 24-year-old guy who's gone through so much, who has, you know, kept his sexuality a secret for so long, kept his feelings of depression and anxiety hidden from the world for so long, and just bottled that up, and he's finding himself again through his early 20s. I just think it's such a beautifully written book, and it's really, really easy to read. It didn't take me that long either, and I just really enjoyed that it wasn't just diary entries, but there's this story that builds along the way, and there's a lot of life lessons that he shares, along with his poetry and his hobby of photography too, or his passion for photography. So if you're looking for a beautiful and inspiring book, do check out kind of Franta's Note to Self. I'm pretty sure you can get it anywhere and everywhere because it's kind of Franta. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's book review, and if there's another book that you think I should go and read, then leave a comment down below. I've got so many that I still want to read, and so many that I have recently finished reading in the last 2 months that I want to do a review on, but I'll definitely be looking for some more books to start reading soon, and to then recommend to you guys if I see value in them. So I'm going to end the vlog here and finish my lovely hot cocoa chai spice, but I will see you guys in a couple of days, and I'll have a new video up on my main channel very soon if it's not already up for this week. So make sure you subscribe to both, and have a very beautiful day or morning wherever you are, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Love you guys. Bye.